Okay, like we covered in class today, two questions. The first one we did, question number 30, deals with secant of a plus 15 and cosecant of 2a. You see the equal sign of two different trig functions. The best thing you can do is start off by looking to see if those two trig functions are what is called cofunctions. If we take a look over here, here are your set of cofunctions: secant and cosecant, tangent and cotangent, sine and cosine. And if you see these two functions, any pair of these two functions set equal, then you know that their angles must be complementary. Okay, they must add up to be 90. So we go back to this question, and what we see is we see two cofunctions, secant and cosecant, and they're set equal, which means that a plus 15 plus 2a must be 90 degrees. That's it. Once you have that down, it's a very simple equation to solve. Add my a's, subtract my 15, we get 3a is equal to 75, divide by 3, and I get a is equal to 25. Once again, just make sure you have what they're looking for. The question said find a in terms of degrees, so we're done. The second question that we went through in class today that was kind of the same type of question was the example we have down here, and it says if sine of 55 is equal to cosine of 2x plus 5, find the smallest positive value of x in simplest radian form. Once again, I see the equal sign and I see sine and cosine set equal. That means they're cofunctions. If they are cofunctions, all I do is take their angles and add them up, and I need to set that equal to 90. Combining like terms, I get 2x plus 60 is 90. Subtracting 60 from both sides, I get 2x is equal to 30. Divide by 2, I get x is equal to 15. All right, so that's the question, but here's the problem. They want the answer in simplest radian measure. So remembering when we go from degrees to radians, move this over. When I go from degrees to radians, we multiply by pi over 180. So I take my 15 degrees, I multiply it by pi over 180. I do all the reducing involved, I'm going to get pi over 12. And that's your final answer. The next question was question 34 in the last Regents. We seem to have a problem with getting the final answer to this question. It's an absolute value inequality. And again, you have to remember when you're doing this, anytime you're undoing the absolute value, you need to create two either equations, or in this case, two inequalities. The first inequality is going to be the exact one you see. And the second inequality is going to be simply taking the negative of the other side and switching the inequality sign. Okay? So solving for this one, I'm going to subtract 3, and just watch what happens with your signs. We get 2x is greater than or equal to 4, divide by -2, divide by -2, so I'm going to get x. The sign switches because I'm dividing by a negative, is a -2. Over here, subtracting 3 from both sides, I'm going to get -2x is less than or equal to -10, dividing by -2. Once again, the inequality sign switches. All right, once I have these two answers and it's an inequality, remember we have two graphs that can be the solution, both having a -2 and a 5. One graph will be, they're both solid because they're equal. One of the solution sets can look like that, or the other solution set could be, again, solid circle, but this time we're going outside and outside. All right, so we're going to pick a common point. You should pick a point that's between. In this first one, in class we picked 0. We tested 0, and when you test 0, you get 3 is less than or equal to a -7, and that's not true. So this is my solution set. When we write that solution set, we're going to get x is less than or equal to a negative 2, and x is greater than or equal to 5. We get that as the solution. If you write it in interval notation, less than or equal to negative 2 is negative infinity until negative 2, and we go bracket because we're including it, and from 5, which is bracket 5, comma, infinity. Okay, so there's the answer. The homework was then to do the other two. The other question we went over in class today was what you do with a bunch of data and how to enter it into the calculator. This one wants the interquartile range, but we're going to answer all the questions that we have down here. So the way you get the list of data in your calculator is you need to go second. I'm moving my calculator up. You need to go, not second, you need to hit stat. Sorry, it's just stat, that button, and you have this list. And to put data into the calculator, you want to go edit. All right. Once you do that, you have a bunch of stuff. You go up to L1, hit clear, and then cursor down, and everything gets cleared out. This is where you're going to want to put your data. If you read the data across, I get 78, enter 79, enter 79, enter 72, enter 75, enter 71, enter 74, enter 74, enter 83, enter and 71, enter. So you have your scores that you're in. Please go back by using the cursor up arrow until you get to the top, or when you get back to that L1, there you are, you're right on top. That tells you all your data is in front of you, and just cursor down and double check to make sure you have everything that's in and it's all right. Okay. Once you do that, then we want to find the mean and we want to find the standard deviation according to this problem. We want to find the 5-number summary, and the way you do that is you hit stat again, and we're going to move over to the calc button now. The mean, the standard deviation, 5-number summary, that's all one variable statistics. So it's right on it right away, so hit enter. And then you want to tell it where to go. Tell the calculator where to go. You have your data stored in L1. So again, if you take a look at your calculator and you take a look at your numbers, all of the number keys, this is number 1, above it is L1. Number 2 above that is L2. Number 3 above that is L3, and so on. So if I want to calculate data that's in L1, I hit second, and then 1. All right, then hit enter. And there's all of the data that we have. All right, so let's read what we have. I'm looking for the mean. So now it's just a matter of going and finding it. The mean is going to be this first number that you see here, and that's 75.6. The standard deviation is your population standard deviation, which is going to be the sigma of x, and that's going to be 3.8. Then they ask you for the 5-number summary. The way to get to the 5-number summary is, again, check this out. There's an arrow right there. The arrow means there's more data below it, so just hit the cursor down button, and there you have all the information you're going to need. All right, so it says what? The minimum value is 71. That's your low. It says Q1 is 72. That's your first quartile. Your median is 74.5. There's where 50% of your scores lie. Your Q3, where 75% of your scores lie, is going to be at 79, and your high score is going to be at 83. So there's the information that they're asking us to write down. Now here's the question. The question wanted to find out what is the interquartile range. So on this sheet, I have that defined for you. The interquartile range is, the definition of it, is just your Q3 score, your third quartile, your 75%, 75 or 75th percentile, minus your 25th percentile, your Q1 score. Well, if I use that formula here, I just simply get 79, which is my Q3 score, minus 72, which is my Q1 score, and the answer is 7. Show that work, and you get full credit. Other things that you might be asked to do with this question is just to find the range. What is the range of the data? Well, the range of the data, by definition, is simply the high score minus the low score. And you can get this again from your 5-number summary. Your high score is 83, minus your low score, which is 71. Answer is 12. Another piece of information they could ask you is, what is the variance of the data? Well, the variance, by definition, is simply the standard deviation squared. That's how you get the variance. So the variance, which is what you're looking for, is going to equal the standard deviation squared. Well, your standard deviation, if you look up here, was found here. So it's going to be 3.8 squared, and then take your calculator out, and you can just go 3.8 raised to the second power, enter, and you get 14.44.